Let's go.
Do it. Good song. Nice. You got it?
Kind of sounds like copyright of Jaws a little bit. Might want to be careful on that one.
Hold on, I got it.
All right. Hello. Welcome, everybody. Welcome back to the Halftime Adjustments podcast. Derek, Luis, and Colton here. Today is July 28th. It is past midnight, and we're all running on fumes. But we're here, and Luis just came back from a wedding. His wedding. Just kidding.
You see that coffee mug up there? For me.
I can't see anything.
Sorry. You can't see it?
No.
No, I can't see anything.
I have a coffee mug on top of my screen, but if y'all can't see it, then why is it there?
Well, I can't see. I can't see your screen. Sorry.
Luis, did you catch the bouquet of flowers?
No. It was a very it was an LGBTQ wedding.
They don't do
Yeah.
flowers?
I guess not. They don't. No, they don't.
I've never
My
been to a
sister's
wedding
wedding
like
had flowers, who is now my brother. They
Uh,
had flowers at their wedding, and they did a bouquet toss.
I know that's the girls' flowers. This is the boys' wedding.
Did they throw anything?
Oh, that makes sense.
What'd you say there?
Did they throw anything?
Just hands. Oh, man.
All right. Well, welcome back to the Halftime Adjustments podcast. We're a little delirious, but we're going to bring to you some amazing content today. Today is our Keep Trade Cut episode. We're going to go over all four major positions today. But before we get into that, I want to bring in some news that that recently just came out. So we had some contracts being distributed this week, fellas. So the one of the major ones is Tua Tagovailoa got signed to a 4-year deal for $212.4 million. So he is
4 years.
Yeah, for 4 years. So he's like the fourth, or I think he's the third highest paid quarterback in the league now. So he's locked up.
Let me get my laptop and do some work. Oh, I can't see because the screen. Oh, hold on.
This is a dumb bit.
Okay, for those of you that aren't for those of you that don't know what's going on, Luis, we're on Zoom right now, so we can all see each other's screens, and Luis is just he's just trying to be funny, but he's really not.
He's typing on a child's laptop is what he's doing.
That was funny, huh?
Which is funny because that's actually they bought it for him. That's not his son's. That's Luis's laptop. Hold on, guys, doing research. Just on the kid's tech laptop.
It's really not mine. It's password protected.
Oh man.
Okay, anyways, Tua is signed to a 4-year deal, so he's locked in. So my breakout is coming in hot, fellas. That was my breakout candidate, and he just got locked down for 4 years. So
You say he's the second highest or the
I think
highest?
third highest.
You know who the first highest is?
The next guy that we're going to talk about is
Is the guy behind you?
No,
Nope.
it's not.
It's a guy who just got signed.
Yeah, next guy that just got signed, Jordon Love signed a record 4-year deal for $220 million. So he is now in the same bracket with Joe Burrow and Trevor Lawrence. making the highest amount. So they're really betting. They're really betting on Jordan Love this year, fellas.
I think that was a bad move.
I actually think it was a pretty good move. I think they have really high hopes on Jordan Love and what he can do, and I do too. Like I think he's got, with all the weapons that he has out there, like I think he's going to be pretty good. So I'm not too worried about him.
Don't get me wrong. I think he will do great. That's a lot of money for somebody. I mean, yes, he had an amazing first season. Like I guess like first actual starting season. But damn, like putting that much money and trusting him, it's a lot of money.
Yeah, but I mean, think about, they just kind of beat. I think they recognize what is happening, which is that you have to be early.
Yeah.
Because look at what Dak's going to get. Dak's going to get over 60 now, and you know, that's for a guy who hasn't performed in the playoffs basically ever. He's really good in the regular season, and hopefully he can come out better this year. But you got to be early if you're going to sign a quarterback, or you have to do what the San Francisco 49ers have done and get a guy on a really cheap deal, pay him $1 million a year, and put a God squad around him. So,
dude, I mean, I also think Purdy is pretty good too.
I think he will turn back into a pumpkin whenever they have to start cutting some of these guys.
I think he's a good quarterback. I'm not saying he's top dog, no Joey Burrow, but I mean, he can do some work. He can throw the ball pretty well.
Hold on. Pause right there. You just said top dog and then put Joe Burrow in that category. He has had 2 season-ending injuries and has proven nothing except for the one time they made it to the Super Bowl.
Hey.
And they lost it.
Joe Burrow is a good quarterback, okay?
You could have said Josh Allen. You could have said Jalen Hurts. You could have said Lamar.
I could have.
Pat Mahomes.
I could have.
You disgust me.
Either way, they're signing Jordan Love to be a Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen.
That's great.
He's going to do it too. He's good, boys. He's so good.
I think he has the power to do it. And, I mean, I don't think it was a mistake either because like what you said, Colt, like you got to get your guys early. Cowboys are making just the stupidest calls. They just don't know how to. The organization needs some help over there. Like they don't.
Yeah, they do.
They don't know what to do. They're doing everything so late, which is making them have to pour a whole bunch of money into them. It's so it's so ridiculous how they're running that organization right now. But yeah, those are the 2 big signings of the week. There's not really any other major news that's going on.
Well, hold on. There's one thing I wanted to bring up here since we're in the news segment, and this goes out to Luis Barraza. Have you seen how much of a focal point they're making Malik Neighbors already in the drills?
Yeah, he's gonna be the number 1 straight off the bat.
Yeah, the head coach already came out and said they plan to get him involved often, very early on, and that he's going to be like the main point of their offense. So y'all may have gotten a stud who's going to receive a lot of work in that offense there.
Oh no, I'm really excited. No, I do see that too. That he's been the main guy.
And heck yeah, dude, he's making plays left and right. He's getting like touchdowns every other play. He's killing it.
And then you see that Hyatt is going to be the receiver too.
Ugh, I don't care about anyone else. Neighbors are bust.
Dude.
Oh, good. I think it's gonna depend a lot on Daniel Jones, to be honest. Like what Daniel Jones can do for him.
It's gonna depend on all the offensive line, brother. If that offensive line gives Daniel Jones a slight second more, then he can make plays.
Well, they didn't really improve their offensive line, did they?
Oh, they did.
They did a lot. They signed this guy from 2 guys. Oh, I forget the names. They have like weird names, but one from the Raiders and another one from the Packers. And then
and they were like apparently Ironmen. Like they don't get injured and they play really, really good. So
yes, Andrew Thomas is healthy again, so he's back. Man.
This line has a
I
chance to be really good. Like
yes.
y'all built around some. Apparently, the guard they paid is one of the best, highest rated guards, and the um from Green Bay. He's the guy who's never missed a game in
Yeah,
his
yeah.
NFL career. So they found some solid pieces to build, and y'all's left and right tackles if they can stay healthy. Got a good little line there.
And look, this is going based on Hard Knocks, but my coach Dayball, he loves Motor. He loves my boy Motor. My boy Devin Singletary.
Yeah,
Devin
they do really like him a lot.
Well,
And he's young too.
Yeah,
Devin Singletary was in Dayball's system whenever he was in Buffalo, so
yeah, he was. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's probably why they drafted him, or they not drafted him, but they traded for him.
dude, they signed him for cheap.
yeah.
Well, yeah,
he
that
signed for
too.
a little.
Cheap. Like I think like 4 or 5 mil for like
Yep.
2 years. 1 year. I forget how long it was.
That's nothing. Pennies. But
Sorry to take you off track there, Derek. I had to ask because I've been keeping up with Hard Knocks every week, and we haven't had a chance to talk about it yet. It's been a lot of fun because this is the pre Hard Knocks before Hard Knocks begins, and it's all about like the NFL draft, all about the GM process. It's so cool.
Dude, you know what made me so mad? Everybody's talking down on the Giants. The Giants like coaching staff saying that we just let Saquon walk. We offered Saquon money. We offered him money, and he said no.
Yeah, but to be fair, I think it's lucky. I think you got lucky that he didn't go because you were able to then get the offensive line help.
And we
had he come back, y'all wouldn't have done it.
Yeah,
oh, true. Yeah.
Yeah, but I don't know. He kind of made me mad. Saquon made me mad.
Well, I think he's gonna dominate in Philly. I feel like so.
Yeah, for sure.
He's gonna be so good over there. I feel so. But I see a lot. I see a lot of comps that Neighbors is being compared to Jamar Chase, like Jamar Chase's rookie season, and so I like Neighbors' value more than Marvin Harris's value for sure. Still don't want to take him in the 4th round though. Still wouldn't take him in the 4th round.
Yeah, it's very high. A lot of good value there.
But
me, that's. I feel like that's a good risk to take.
Well, of course, he's on your team.
To take Neighbors. No, this is my team. But like he's being compared, like Derek said, to Chase. So like this is the guy. Yeah. Okay, he's gonna be pretty good. You know, like so. If depending on like who you pick so far, if you're a little risky guy, you want to shake it up a little bit, then shit, dude.
Little risky biscuit.
Little risky biscuits. Take them at the 4th or 5th pick, but you know. I don't know. We'll see how it turns out.
The problem with that is like we were taking Jamar Chase in like the 7th, 8th round. Like
that's true.
I would take Neighbors over there, but taking him in like the 4th round, 5th round, that's kind of early. It's so early to me.
I definitely agree.
You like my new wallpaper?
Luis, the viewers don't know, and we definitely can't describe that wallpaper.
Hey, it's only for y'all's eyes.
Luis, nobody can see your wallpaper.
Hey, it's only for your eyes, there. You're only for your eyes.
You forget we have viewers.
All right. Well, either way, today we're going to be doing a keep, trade, cut episode. This is the episode which is basically like kill, marry. What's the other one? Oh, Jesus. Yeah.
You set him up for that one. That's your fault.
I couldn't think of it. I really couldn't think of it.
You just alley-ooped it right to him from the slam dunk, and then you're like, oh, why would he say that? You can't.
I couldn't remember.
Oh, you're lying.
I'm so late. It's so late. I'm tired. All right.
You wanted me to say, and you know.
You did.
Keep, trade, cut. That's what we're doing today. Keep, trade, cut. So we're going to start.
Sexual relations, marry, or.
This guy.
All right. So first things first, we're going to start off with quarterback. And we have 3 names here. So the first name is going to be Dak Prescott. The second one is going to be Jordon Love, who just got that massive contract. The third one is going to be Anthony Richardson.
It's a good group. Some good
Who wants to go
names.
first? Who wants to go first?
You go first, Luis. It's you.
I'll go first, yeah. It's me. Okay. So how do you guys want to start? You want to go, we're going to cut first, we're going to start first, or what?
I want
Whatever
you
you wanna do.
You say whatever you want.
All right. Well, I think easily, just because he got injured really early off in the season, I'm going to cut Anthony Richardson.
But
just disregarding his whole upside. Okay, wait, no, hold on. I just for clarification, I want to know: is this for fantasy relevance, or if you're like, are we acting as if we're the GM of the team?
For fantasy relevance.
Okay, yeah. So you're just disregarding all his upside. That's tough, man.
Well, I mean, if I had to choose, because Dak Prescott, he puts up numbers.
He does.
That man
He's so
puts up
good.
numbers. And like I said, I mean, Anthony Richardson didn't play the whole season. You know, I'm not gonna keep him on the squad either if it's bench or start when I haven't seen a full season potential, right?
Yep.
So I'm gonna cut him. Unfortunate, but like I said, if I saw his full season and he continued the way he was doing, he'd probably be in the roster. He wouldn't be cut. I probably would have cut that. So yeah, I'm gonna cut Anthony. And then I'm going to bench Dak, and I'm going to start Jordon Love. Jordon Love is younger, more fresh team, more agile. I think he's better. I think he is better in the pocket.
Mm-hmm.
I believe he has more of those dynamic throws. Dak, I mean, hey, I'm not gonna lie, Dak is really good, but I feel like he falls under pressure a lot. Like he falls a lot. I mean, just look at the previous playoff game, who be who? Jordan Love be Dak. So I think I'd take Jordan Love as my starting quarterback and Dak as my backup.
Yeah. Okay. Well,
like it.
My take.
Yeah. I understand that logic with Anthony Richardson. I just feel like his upside is so high that there's no way I could cut him at this moment. And his upside is like making his values just so inflated. So for me, I think I would trade Anthony Richardson here. I don't think I would keep him on my team, but because he's going for so high, I would trade him away. And then I would keep Jordon Love.
Wait, are we doing start, bench, cut, or trade?
Keep, trade, cut.
Keep, trade. Okay.
So I would keep Jordon Love on my team. And it's only purely because of the contract that he just got. And to me, I think that he has probably the best he has the best weapons out of all of these quarterbacks. I mean, Dak has CeeDee Lamb, of course, but that's it. Like he's just got CeeDee Lamb. He's got Jake Ferguson, but I mean, it's just Dak and CeeDee, and so Jordan Love, I feel like he's got a lot of weapons. He's got Dontavian Wicks, he's got Jaden Reed, he's got Christian Watson if he can stay healthy. He's got a new tight end too over there.
Luke Musgraves, Josh Jacobs,
and Josh Jacobs.
Yeah,
Josh Jacobs too.
Yeah, they have it all over there.
So I feel like just purely on the weapons that Jordan Love has, I feel like he has some pretty good upside. That's I feel like is undervalued at this moment as well. And I know people are going to say like, oh, you need to keep Anthony Richardson. Like Anthony Richardson's a mobile quarterback. Like, yeah, I get it, but I think with Anthony Richardson, it's more of like whenever he did play, it was pretty good, but I feel like there's a lot of risk with mobile quarterbacks, and I don't want that on my team. So I think I would trade away that.
He was playing so. I won't say he was playing stupid, but he was playing so risky.
Yeah,
dude, he would be like diving, like diving, just like taking runs he shouldn't have taken. Like he was, I mean, he was being mobile, right? I mean, there's always a huge upside of being mobile, but that guy would not play smart. I think. I mean, he's young, fresh out of college. He did that a lot in college, right? But NFL is way different.
Yeah.
Yep.
You will
Yep.
get popped.
I think I remember in both of the games that he played, like he got injured every single one of those games.
Yeah, yeah. Like,
Yeah.
and
It was his
he's
shoulder. He kept messing up his shoulder.
Yeah.
and like he's injury prone now. Like because of that, he's now injury prone.
Mhm.
So he might do good, the first 5 games starts. But what happens if he gets hurt again? Then value goes down a lot.
I think with me with the reason I'm cutting Dak Prescott is just simply because yeah, he had a great phenomenal year last year, but he was somebody that was being picked up off of the waiver wire. And I haven't seen it like really consistently with Dak Prescott. You've seen a lot of lulls in his performances. So I feel like I can't just stick with that and like rely on that solely. So I feel like I would have to cut Dak Prescott for that reason. So
That's fair. I think you understand.
Okay. I am very close to Derek on this. I'm dropping Dak as well. Now, my biggest reason for dropping Dak is currently Dak, CD, the entire coaching staff are all on a 1-year contract. And none of them have received their big deals yet. But, that's not really something I'm wanting to watch them all go through a contract season. Now, that could be really good for them. I think if a player's on a contract season, it's a really good motivator. But when a coach's on a contract season, I think they tend to play a lot more conservative. Like there's already rumors coming out in camp that Tyler Guyton, the first round pick that they took to replace Tyron Smith, they're thinking about not starting him to start the season because although he has better upside, he's not a polished player. So they don't want to take the risk of starting him and giving the reps in the season starting off bad and then them losing their footing in the team. So that's the kind of stuff that can go down whenever you have a coach that's on his last year and an entire coaching staff for that matter. So they may play more conservative or a little more scared. And then you have Dak and CD. So I'm not touching that situation. I just want nothing to do with Dallas this year. He's the cut candidate.
yeah.
Now, the trade candidate, I actually am flip flop with what Derek has. I'm going to keep Anthony Richardson because I think
Oh,
first of all, if you haven't seen it, you should go look it up. There's a video that the Colts media team released on Twitter with the offensive line walking to practice and Anthony Richardson behind them, and it looks like the Great Wall of China. I mean, it is just 5 of the beefiest white dudes you've ever seen. And Quentin Nelson, as obviously the left guard, just holding it down like a rock. That offensive line is probably, I think, going to be, it's easily top 5, I think, but it could be the best in football this year. And Anthony Richardson may not get sacked one time behind that line. It is incredible what they've put together over there. And as far as weapons go, we still have Michael Pittman and Jonathan Taylor, one of the most dynamic running backs in the NFL still. So I'm not super concerned. I know his injury history was an issue last year, but he did have a shoulder surgery this past year to repair the problem, and hopefully it's going to be the last time we have a problem there. And to exactly what Derek alluded to, I don't think the hype for Jordan Love could be any higher right now because every one of his weapons is through the roof excited. They just paid him a monster contract. They just traded for a really good running back. So I think the value you're going to get for Love could not be any higher, and that's the reason why I'm going to trade him away.
Yeah, that's fair.
okay.
Yeah, he's at an all-time high right now, which is fair. So I think
He's coming off a QB5 season. Like he would have to produce some insane numbers to get back to where the hype is right now, especially coming off that massive contract.
Right. Yeah. So yeah, I understand that reasoning. I do feel like Anthony Richardson does have a little like he does still have a lot to learn. I feel like as being a mobile quarterback. And so, but I do understand the hype around him and like how good and how talented he could be. So yeah, I get that. But okay, valid valid points being made here. I like it. All right, well then let's move on. Then let's go to our wide receivers. This one's kind of a tough one. This is the middle of the pack wide receivers. So Chris Olave, Garrett Wilson, and Drake London. This one's one of the tougher ones to answer, and these guys are pretty much going back to back to back in ADP wise. So,
oh man,
what do we think, fellas? What are we looking at? Chris Olave, Garrett Wilson, or Drake London?
This is an easy one for me. I know this is not when you think about these three guys, but I'm looking at what they have around them. I think wide receiver, I've said it before, is the most dependent position on a football field. You have to rely on the quarterback having enough time, running your route well enough, quarterback seeing you and executing a throw in order for you to make a play. Whereas a running back, you just get the ball. So with that being said, the first guy I'm going to just instantly drop is Chris Olave. I think their offensive line is not in great shape. Their quarterback, out of the three of those guys being Kirk Cousins, Aaron Rodgers, and Derek Carr, he's the least capable out of the three. So I think he's the guy I'm going to let go.
Okay.
The trade gets a little trickier. I think I would trade Garrett Wilson because there's already a lot of offseason hype about Aaron Rodgers coming back, and you see videos of him having these 50-yard bombs and how great that's going to be. But there's two things to worry about, which is re-injury and that Aaron Rodgers only signed a 2-year contract, and we're in year 2 of that contract. So what Wilson has this year is definitely not going to be what he has next year, and he could be back in quarterback hell, which is not something I'm looking for long term. Taking me to my keep candidate, which is going to be London, because we've seen Kirk Cousins produce very steady output for wide receivers like Jefferson and McLaurin for a few years now. They have already said they're going to utilize Bijan Robinson more, which is going to open up the passing game, and you have Kyle Pitts as a secondary option. That team looks very well put together, and I think he's going to finish the highest out of the three of those guys, so he's my keep candidate.
Yeah, I think that one's pretty... I do think the cut candidate is pretty simple here. I agree with you on cutting Olave. I do think that their relationship between Olave and Derek Carr is just not there. It's not established. And it wasn't established last year either. There was a lot of problems between them. But I think where we differ is I would actually keep Garrett Wilson and trade away Drake London. And it's pretty similar to the reasons why you would trade Jordan Love, Colton. I think trading away Drake London with the hype that he has now is going to be pretty beneficial in the long run. So like Drake London has his ADP is the highest that it's ever been. And it's simply because of the way the Falcons offense is projected to run this season. The reason why I'm cutting him is just because simply we haven't seen it yet. Like we haven't seen Drake London perform at the Chris Olave level or the Garrett Wilson level, or even the George Pickens level, like even there. And I feel like betting on Drake London at this point, it's a good bet to take. I do think he could break out this season, but I feel like because I haven't seen it yet, I don't have the confidence in him or his team around him yet to pull the trigger on keeping him. So I feel like I would keep Garrett Wilson for that reason. I do like Garrett Wilson more as a person as well. Like I feel like his personality fits really well with Aaron Rodgers, and even if it's only for a year or two, with Aaron Rodgers, I feel like that the Jets will eventually figure something out. They have a revamped offensive line. It's going to be really good. There's nobody else really over there competing with Garrett Wilson other than Mike Williams at this moment. I think Mike Williams is going to be a really good counterpiece, or not counterpiece, but like secondary option for Aaron Rodgers that'll keep it won't keep all eyes on Garrett Wilson, basically. And so I feel like, and it's kind of a similar situation with Bijan Robinson. They have Breece Hall over there, and Breece Hall is an elite talent as well. I think Breece Hall has a lot to offer as far as keeping, keeping the boxes stacked in a way, because he's so good, and like people are going to have to worry about him, which will open the top up for like players like Garrett Wilson, like just to kind of take one to the house or something like that. And so I do have a little bit more confidence in Aaron Rodgers as well, other than Kirk Cousins. Kirk Cousins is also fresh, like his Achilles injury is a little bit more fresh as well, and Aaron Rodgers had a little bit of a longer time to heal from the Achilles injury. So for those reasons, I think I would keep Garrett Wilson, and then trade away Drake London. So
that is the best sales pitch I've ever heard, and I'm swayed. You got me. I'm fully in your camp now, and I am switching my guy to Garrett Wilson. That is such a good argument. I have nothing to say except for great argument, sir.
Dude, I was just listening to him, man. This man knows what he's talking about.
It's like watching Beethoven. This man just had it all mapped out.
All right.
Hey, no, but like seriously though, that was a very good explanation, because I also choose the same as what Derek said.
Oh, of course you do now.
No.
What are you gonna say after that? Oh yeah, I was gonna say the same thing. Okay.
Referring to my picks, you butthead. But no, yeah, poor Chris Olave, dude. That man can be such a good receiver, but he just has a bad quarterback.
Yeah.
So yeah, like to me, like I'm gonna have to cut him. And the only reason why I would keep Garrett Wilson instead of Drake London, I do like Drake London with Kirk Cousins a lot. Kirk Cousins can make a player. Like, I don't know if y'all heard that, but Kirk makes players.
Mm-hmm.
And I think he can make Drake London, just like he made J. Jeff. I mean, obviously, J. Jeff is a great stud as well, but the accuracy and the ball precision of Kirk Cousins is amazing. But the only reason why I'm keeping Garrett Wilson is Aaron Rodgers. And yes, him being his last year there or contract there, I feel like he's going to try and make something up, especially for being injured the first 2 minutes of the first game last year. But he's come back, and he's come back hungry. And I think him and Wilson, oh man, they're gonna just tear it up.
Yeah, I mean,
that's why I'd rather pick. Honestly, Rodgers is my biggest reason why I'll keep Wilson instead of Drake.
Mm-hmm.
Rodgers discount double check. Y'all remember that?
I remember that.
Way back in the day.
Yeah, I do remember that. I do think that Chris Olave gets a lot of flack. I love Chris Olave. I was a huge supporter of him last year, and I picked him in our keeper league first over as my first round pick. Like, I was all in on Chris Olave, and he was one of my guys that I just had a gut feeling on, and I picked him over Garrett Wilson, and like it proved to be.
I picked Garrett Wilson.
Yeah, you ended up getting Garrett Wilson. And it ended up working out for the best.
Yeah, it did.
But just like it's Derek Carr, and it's the coaching scheme over there. Like, the coaching scheme is so weak over there in New Orleans. It's just they don't. I feel like they need a whole new like system going on over there, because the way they play is so like it's so scared. Like it feels like they're scared when they play, and it's something that I don't.
Dude, have you noticed that Derek Carr? I don't know. Like, again, I don't know if it's actually the actual play call, but I feel like all the time with Chris Olave, Derek Carr is just throwing him downfield, just throwing it downfield, just throwing it downfield. I noticed that. I hardly see any like 10-yard routes, 5-yard routes, 6-yard routes. It's always just chunking it, seeing if he's there.
Yeah,
and I don't know. I did notice that a lot about that team, especially with Chris Olave.
Mm-hmm. Well, there
So
was
that's actually, sorry, just to go to your point, Derek. You mentioned how they play sort of scared. They play a little bit like reserved. I think that's the reason why Olave is getting so much hype this year. Is they did get Clint Kubiak, who was the offensive coordinator for the 49ers. And
mm,
that's why a lot of people are like really hyping him up of like, okay, we have seen what this guy and his offense produces. It produces Ayuk, Kittle, McCaffrey, Debo. It
mm,
produces studs. So that's why there's a lot of hype around Olave this year of like, okay, they now have the offensive mind who can come in and fix this. So it's yet to be seen, but the hype is definitely there because of the coach.
mm-hmm. Yeah, that
Hype
makes
could be
sense.
there. It could be there, but you need a quarterback to perform.
Yeah.
Yeah, agreed.
One thing having a bad coach, one thing, and another thing having that actually go out to the field and have your players perform.
Mm-hmm.
We'll see. We'll see. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, I remember. There's one specific play that I remember so vividly, and it's whenever Derek Carr, kind of he overthrew Olave by a wide, very wide margin, and Olave kind of just gave up on the play, and Derek Carr just gets so mad at him, and he's like screaming at him like down the sideline. He's running down the sideline screaming at him, and Olave is just like, okay, whatever, bro. I'm not going to listen to you. Like he just like kind of walks away. But Derek Carr is just so furious at him because he gave up on the play. Why wouldn't he give up on the play? The ball is like in the sideline. It's like overthrown by like 15 yards. It's like not even close. And
Yeah.
it's like, okay, like Derek Carr gets mad, but he's also not accurate with his throws. So I understand where Olave is coming from and why he stepped away and why he didn't why he felt like he needed to give up on that play.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, I think
Hopefully
it's just
they'll
a
put
bad
him in better
situation.
chances to succeed. I do think right now he's the easy cut out of those three guys, but I do agree that he is just as talented as the other two guys, if not more talented than London. I think Wilson's the most talented out of this group, but mediocre quarterback play is something that they can overcome if the coach puts them in a fantastic position to succeed by giving him really good option throws. So
Oh
um,
yeah.
maybe he has a really good year this year, and hopefully he gets an opportunity to show what he can actually do. Because in the glimpses we've seen, it's been really good.
Right. All right, everybody. Well, let's move on to running back. We got a few candidates here. So we have Isiah Pacheco, James Cook, and Joe Mixon. So
Oh
keep,
man.
trade, cut. Who are we going with here, fellas?
Joe Mixon, Pacheco, and Cook. Let's see. I'm gonna start the ball off rolling here, and I'm gonna take it one player at a time. So with Joe Mixon, he's he got traded right to the Raiders. No, true.
Texans. He's with the Texans.
Texans. Now, see, Texans football, man, they got a lot better. I think he can probably do a little bit better than he did over there at the Bengals. But Joe Mixon, I think honestly, I think I'll cut Joe Mixon. I'll cut Joe Mixon. Coming back around to James Cook, I think James Cook will be probably the better running back all three, especially with the Bills' offensive line right now.
Okay.
Given that Diggs is out of the picture now, maybe they might have more running opportunities, more running schemes with James Cook. So maybe to me, I think that's why I would want to start him. I would want to start him. And then who's the other one? You said Pacheco. I guess I will try Pacheco. I think he's good. He's very quick. He's very explosive. But I mean, I think he's just average. I really think he's mid. He's a mid running back to me. He's just with a really good team, really good quarterback that makes plays. Um, but yeah, I mean, I think I'll trade him. I'll cut Joe, trade Pacheco, and I'll start Cook.
I actually think this is one of the ones that we're going to each have a different answer. Like, I don't know that we're all going to be the same on this because these guys are all so dang close. and their
I know, yeah,
abilities
he's
and
really
their
close.
rankings.
Yeah, I mean, I think, yeah, this one's. I do. I like. I've been trying to think about this one for a little bit because I don't really know. So for me,
And
I feel like the obvious candidate. I'll get it out of the way. I feel like the obvious candidate for me to keep is Isiah Pacheco. I would definitely keep Isiah Pacheco. Um, I think that his upside with Patrick Mahomes is going to be there. I think there's no Isaiah, there's no McKinnon there anymore, and so he's going to get a lot of the dump offs now. I feel like they're going to rely heavily on him to be their running back one. So I feel like for me, I would definitely keep Isaiah Pacheco. James Cook, I think I do see the upside in James Cook. However, I don't like the way the Bills offense is run with for running backs at least with Josh Allen there because Josh Allen is basically a running back himself. So it's hard for me to like because this is the hard part for me. It's James Cook and Joe Mixon. I don't know where I'm going with them. I'm just trying to talk it out right now and think about it. But I do think James Cook he's the younger back. He's got a lot more left in the tank. But I feel like a player like him on a team like this is somebody that kind of that he's somebody that kind of gets lost in the weeds to me. And I feel like if the organization and the offense is working primarily through the passing game, which they did a lot of last year, then he's not going to get his. Like he's going to be very wishy-washy and kind of like lost in the weeds. Joe Mixon, on the other hand, he's the oldest quarterback out of these three candidates on a new team. I do like the way the offense over there is structured. They have a lot of mouths to feed, though, so with like C.J. Stroud and Tank Dell, Nico Collins, and now Stephon Diggs.
it was a lot.
But I do think if when it comes down to the mobile quarterbacks, I think Joe Mixon has a very favorable option there with his team. And so I think for that reason, I think I'm going to go ahead and try to trade Joe Mixon away. And then I will cut James Cook. Man, this one's a tough one because I know James Cook has probably a lot more upside and he could probably go for more. But I feel like in the long run, James Cook is probably somebody that would drop significantly in ADP after this year, maybe. So I think Joe Mixon probably has a good season left in him this year. So for that reason, I think I'd probably trade Joe Mixon, cut James Cook, and then definitely keep Isiah Pacheco.
Yeah, like I said, I think we're all going to have different answers here because I think your logic is really sound. I'm going to present a different argument, and it's not going to be the same. So, very surprisingly, the person that I'm going to keep in this three-headed monster is going to be Joe Mixon.
What?
Yeah, he's the oldest, and he's on a new team, but the other two guys I feel like have really good upside, being Pacheco and Cook. But Joe Mixon, I saw a stat on him just the other day that he's the only running back in the past 3 seasons since 2020 to produce a top 12 running back season or better in all 3 seasons. He's the only person to have done that. So, with that being the case, I'm gonna bank on him doing it again. He's in a team that has better opportunity. I know there are a lot of mouths to feed, but I've always said that running backs don't have to worry about wide receivers and tight ends. I know that you have to run the ball. There's no way getting around that. And this organization has made it abundantly clear Dameon Pierce is not their guy, or else they wouldn't have traded for Joe Mixon or signed him. I'm not sure what they ended up doing, but you don't make that move if you think that your guy is Dameon Pierce. So for whatever reason, they're out on him. They're not going to be utilizing him that much. Joe Mixon will get the majority workload of a really good offense that has Laramie Tunsil to run behind, CJ Stroud at quarterback, who is a pocket passer. He's not a guy who runs a lot, and he's going to be dishing the ball out very often. To your point, with that spread offense that they're going to be able to run, the box can't be stacked that often, because if you're going to leave Tank Dell, Nico Collins open, that means Stephon Diggs is getting the double team. There's too many pieces to this puzzle to say, you know what, we're going to prioritize the run game. We're going to take that away from him. That's not going to be the thing that when you walk into Houston, you say, we're going to take away their run game today. You're going to hope that they run the ball and you're able to stop their air attack. And I think Joe Mixon is going to make them quickly regret letting him run the ball. So Mixon's my guy based off of his statistical performance for the past 3 seasons, the team that he's on, and the opportunity he's going to have. Now, the other two is where it gets a little trickier. I think Isiah Pacheco has the highest likelihood of getting injured, so he's the guy I'm going to drop. I'm going to cut Isiah Pacheco. He runs nasty. He runs hard. He's very, very inefficient with his runs. So last year he hurt his ankle. I just think he runs so violently and viciously that that's an easy way to hurt an ankle or a knee or a hamstring, or you lower your shoulder and you hurt your shoulder. So I have him in my dynasty league. He's my running back 2 in dynasty. So he's a guy that I'm like not out on, but in this situation, he's the guy I'm gonna cut, because I think the next person in this next person, which is James Cook, I think I have a much easier sell for James Cook than I do for Isiah Pacheco, because Pacheco, they just added Xavier Worthy. They still have Travis Kelce. They they got rid of the running back in McKinnon. And again, I think there's just a more injury chance than there will be for Cook. I think he is a more elusive back, and Josh Allen does get in the way of some rushing opportunities, but they got rid of everybody in that team.
Yeah, they sure did.
They got rid of Singletary. They got rid of Gabe Davis. They got rid of Stephon Diggs. They have Dalton Kincaid, Keon Coleman, and James Cook. Those are their guys. And I guess you can include Dawson Knox if you want. So I think if I'm a fantasy manager, I can approach a team and say, hey, the upside for this player is so high right now because they're going to have to utilize the run game. They just paid Josh Allen. They had to cut a lot of players. There's a lot of potential for him to get the ball significantly more than what he was getting in the past because they have to protect Allen more than they did in the past. So he's the guy I'm going to try to sell, and I think you can sell him for a lot higher than you could Pacheco.
I mean, yeah, I agree with that just because, like you said, a lot of receivers, were traded out that team. So they can also utilize Cook as your second threat, as drop back pass type of guy,
Exactly.
In the flat, he'll be your third, fourth option. It's just the pass and run game for him.
Yeah, Mixon's not going to have any pass upside, so he's going to get probably, I would say, 200 to 250 carries is what his floor is going to be around. James Cook's floor may be around 170, but he could get 50 receptions. So his split's going to look a little different. It may end up being the same, and half PPR, that's more valuable. So again, I think he's a good candidate for that. Whereas Pacheco, he is not a pass catching back, and he's not a great efficient runner. He's going to see the end zone more because Kansas City gets to the end zone more often. But I don't think his upside is better than Cook's, and I do like the statistical advantage that Mixon gives me.
Yeah.
That one's a little surprising to me, Colt. I feel like you would have definitely picked either James Cook or Pacheco to keep. And I thought you would have been on the cut Mixon train.
Oh, yeah. No, I mean,
valid points there.
I mean, it's funny because both of those guys, in my dynasty league that I'm in, I actually own both Pacheco and Cook. They're guys that I love. I love both of them. But in a situation where you're telling me I have to do those things, if I'm pushing for a championship, which is what we're all trying to do, we're all trying to win. I think Mixon gives me the best chance to win a championship and give me steady production. With the other guys, so much has changed on those rosters that there are a lot of question marks surrounding them. I feel a lot better being able to sell their upside. Mixon, there's no upside to sell. So I'm going to just try to hope that he does what he has statistically done the past 3 seasons and give me at least a top 12 RB2 style finish. And by the way, in 2 of those seasons, he finished RB5 and RB3.
Mm-hmm.
So you're talking about a guy who has top 5 upside while also giving you a really solid floor of RB12. That's, to me, pretty invaluable. I'm not passing that up.
Yeah. I mean, he's 28 years old, so he just turned 28, so he's on the bottom half side of his career. But I do see a couple more years, like possibly a couple more years left. He has. I feel like his shelf life is still there a little bit.
Yeah,
so
just a little bit.
Yeah. Okay, then. Without further ado, last but not least, let's get to our tight end keep trade cut candidates. So we have George Kittle, Kyle Pitts, and Trey McBride. Keep, cut, trade.
When I saw that, I also thought that was gonna be a really, really hard one.
No kidding.
Yeah.
Just because. So I'm not telling you all this right now. I'm just kind of speaking. Dude, I love George Kittle. I think I just love him as a person, dude. He's so funny.
Have you seen him on receiver?
No, I haven't.
Oh, you should. He's on receiver for this year.
He's on there?
Netflix show. Yeah, they brought him, and he's so funny on it.
Oh my gosh!
But
you also watch it if you haven't.
But dude, the way that San Francisco, I mean, I guess you can exclude IU, but dude, they have so many weapons. Is that half the time George Kittle doesn't get a freaking touch, and then the last quarter he gets like 6 touches, for like almost 100 yards. So it's just no telling with that guy, because sometimes he might get like a couple touches within in the beginning of the game, but after that, dude, he won't get nothing. And it's so his touches are very inconsistent, but him being inconsistent, it's consistent, and it's kind of confusing. But it's because they have so many weapons. They had 2 great receivers, 3 receivers. They had a freaking mobile quarterback. And it's really hard for me for Kittle. So I mean, like I said, I'm not picking right now. I'm kind of venting about Kittle right now. I love the guy.
Sounds like you're gonna drop him.
I don't know. It's just hard, especially with Kyle Pitts too, man. Like he's been I think to me he's been okay. He hasn't really showed a lot of talent, which everyone thought he was going to be. I remember they were comparing him to who did they compare him to in college? Like a Tony Gonzalez. I think it was Tony Gonzalez. They were comparing him to one of the greats, and he hasn't been great material. He's been good, but great, no. And he said the last one is McBride.
McBride and Kyle Pitts.
Yeah, and McBride, dude, I think he's the younger. I know he's like 22, 23?
24.
So, he's 24, okay. I mean, but still the youngest out of all of them, too.
He's not.
Man.
He's not the youngest out of all of them.
Pitts is younger by a year, I think.
Pitts is younger by a year.
No, Kyle Pitts is 24, too, no?
No, he's 23.
Dude, I swear he just started. He started with this is his second, third year?
Dude, get your math right.
So yeah,
dude, I swear Kyle Pitts started like at least 2-3 years ago.
He started. No. He joined the league when he was 21.
Wow, damn.
He was the same draft as Jamar Chase, wasn't he?
Yeah, yes,
yeah.
Okay.
So he's on his second year, I think, third year. But,
okay, I'm ready for my final take.
Bring it on.
Okay, so this is the guy that you probably won't think I will start, but I'm starting with my start guy. I will pick McBride. I will start him. I will pick him. He's my guy. And you want to know why? You want to know why? For the same reason why we've been talking about the Bills. All receivers have been leaving the Bills. He's gonna be your major number one weapon right now. He's gonna be your Travis Kelce for the Bills. He's gonna be your guy.
Ooh. There's a lot of people comparing him to Travis Kelce already, McBride.
Yeah, I heard that too. So, and I mean, he's still relatively young, 24, right?
Yeah, he's pretty young.
And even though, like so we talked about, well, Josh Allen can do this and that, whatever, but Josh Allen needs somebody to throw to. And he's gonna have him like that.
Gonna call timeout here because McBride plays for Arizona.
Wait, what team did you think he was playing on, Luis?
The Bills.
No, you're thinking of Dalton Kincaid.
Oh my god, I haven't think about McCabe.
Loser.
You're thinking of Dalton Kincaid.
Dude, I am tripping out.
Oh man, that's so embarrassing for you. That's crazy.
This is going live on. This is live on the air too.
Man. Luis, I actually thought you were honest. I thought you were cooking up something nasty because I also want to start McBride as my option, and I was like, "Oh, Luis is on it," and then you were like, "And Josh Allen's gonna lead him," and I was like, "Oh crap!" Smith thinks he's talking about Kincaid.
Oh man, what time is it? It's 2:00 in the morning.
Don't blame it on the time. You just didn't know.
Oh, I'm gonna blame it
just
on the
didn't
time.
know.
Anyways, no, what I'm going to say is Kyler Murray is gonna.
Oh yeah, okay, yeah, sure.
But no, I think I'll still start him though, because I do know who you're talking about. But I just specifically thought he played for the Bills.
Yeah, you goof.
Okay.
What else you got?
Good hard.
What else you got?
We're gonna pass him now. I'm gonna cut Kyle Pitts. I'm gonna cut Pittsies, and I would trade Kittle.
Whoa! I did not see that coming.
Yep.
Wow. Okay, so if I'm understanding the game correctly, the idea is on the trade people to trade them when they're at their highest, right? And there is no doubt about it that Kyle Pitts is at the highest value he has ever seen, except for coming out of his rookie year. Because Kirk Cousins has shown that he can sustain a elite tight end with Hawkinson. So a lot of people are like, "Oh, this is finally the year he puts it all together." He's 24. He's young.
You made a valid argument, dude. I'm switching it up.
You're switching it up? Hell yeah. So I'm in the same boat. I think McBride is the guy to keep here. And let me explain my reasoning. So I'm gonna keep.
Oh yeah, you want to copy me?
No, because here's the difference. I know what team he plays on. So I'm not after the Bills. I'm after the Cardinals. So, I'm going to keep him. I'm going to trade Pitts, and I'm going to cut Kittle. To Luis's point, the team that he actually plays for is also going to have an insane amount of targets because they have always had a ton of targets, and no one has stepped into that role to take over as the one. And Harrison's definitely about to do that. The top two guys in this offense are clearly Marvin Harrison Jr. and Trey McBride. Kyler Murray found a connection with him. You can go look. His production is so steady towards the end of the year whenever they found that connection. Pitts, I've already said why I'm going to trade him. The hype is too high to not take advantage of that. And while Kittle is, I would say, obviously the most experienced of this group and has been the guy who has shown it more than any of them, I do think his injury history, along with Luis's perfect explanation of Kittle, in my opinion, he's consistently inconsistent. That's not a guy I want for my fantasy team. I want consistency. So, that's the guy I'm going to get rid of. Send him to the grave.
Okay. Well, I think I'm going to surprise you guys a little bit here. So I'm going to switch it up. I personally,
Wait, hold on.
I would.
What if Derek just gave us like 3 different players? I'm gonna switch it
I'm
up.
gonna
I'm gonna
switch
go
it up.
Kelsey.
I'm gonna see
Kincaid.
Kelsey, Kincaid, and Sam Laporta here. No. Uh,
How dare you?
okay. So I will agree with you, Cole, that I'm going to drop George Kittle as well. I just feel like he's very inconsistent. I hated that whenever he was on my team. He was really good whenever he was performing really well, but those are very fluky games, and I hate trying to predict those. But for
Hey,
me,
but you know what though? A fluke is a very common fish in the sea.
okay.
Oh, shut up.
For me, I'm actually going to keep Kyle Pitts and trade Trey McBride.
Ooh.
So I do think that Trey McBride is he's a stellar tight end. He's probably he has so much upside. Like everything is pointing in the right direction for Trey McBride, and it was doing it last year too. But I do think that with Marvin Harrison Jr. over there now, I feel like there will be a lot of targets going towards Marvin Harrison Jr. this year, and Trey McBride will not be the focal point of that offense. Last year, Trey McBride had an amazing season, but there wasn't really anybody else to throw the ball to last year. I mean, Marquise Brown was consistently injured, and behind him, there was really nobody else. James Conner was catching balls out of the backfield, but like for the most part, this offense was pretty washed. And I do think that because of where Trey McBride is going ADP wise, I feel like he's somebody that has a lot of hype from last year, and I feel like he would be a really good trade candidate. So for that reason, I would trade away Trey McBride. I also don't. I'm not 100% certain as to how confident Kyler Murray is with Trey McBride. I do think that the confidence is there, but I don't remember I don't think their performance was as good as before whenever Kyler Murray wasn't playing, whenever he was still recovering from his ACL injury. So I don't think that the confidence is there at the moment. But for me, I am keeping Kyle Pitts, and this guy has been a disappointment for pretty much the last 2 seasons, and there was a lot of hype on Kyle Pitts like since his rookie season. I was never one of those people that was hyped on Kyle Pitts, but this year is the year that I think he should have a lot of hype. And it's simply because of the quarterback situation that they have over there. The quarterback situation and the changing of the head coach. He's still the youngest out of these guys. Like, he's been in the league since he was 21 years old, and he didn't really get much of an opportunity. I mean, he had some here and there, but there wasn't any design schemes for him to get open and to like be an effective pass catcher on that team. Arthur Smith never really got him involved that much. He didn't really get many players that were elite level talents involved. And Kyle Pitts, if you look at him, this guy is just ginormous. Like, especially for his age, he's still like the youngest one out of all of these guys, and he is just, I think he's the biggest tight end out of all of these guys. So I think he's also the most athletic as well. So I think for that reason, I do expect Kyle Pitts to get more involved in the passing game this year with Kirk Cousins and with Drake London. I think those are going to be the 1-2 type of guys out there, and I think Kyle Pitts will benefit from that the most. So I would keep Kyle Pitts, trade away Trey McBride, and then just drop George Kittle. So
I'm going to make one counter argument to what you said, because I think it's important to know. Maybe it'll sway you. Probably not, because I understand the hype for Pitts. I totally get it. But the whole reason why I'm going with McBride over Pitts is because we have seen a little bit more from McBride. What I mean by that is Kyler Murray came back in week 10. So from week 10 to week 18, that's the 8-week period we have to sort of judge how they played together. During that time, week 10 he finished tight end 3, then tight end 14, then 7, then 2, then 5, then 26, then 14, then 5.
Yikes, brother.
He 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of the 8 games finished within the top 5, and 5, 6, 7 of those finished within the top 15. So I'm happy with that. I don't know. I'm still on the McBride train because, to your point, you were like, oh well, we don't really know how they played together. When they did play together, they definitely found that connection pretty instant.
Yeah, I didn't know. Like I didn't know what the stats were. That's why I was saying I didn't know what they looked like together. But
yeah,
I will say that that was without a wide receiver 1. So
you're right. Yeah, he had nothing.
Yeah, so I feel like Trey McBride was probably the only option for Kyler Murray, which is valid.
Yeah.
I mean, like if I didn't have any other options and there was somebody that was getting open, I would do the same thing. I would throw Trey McBride all of the passes and make him the tight end 3 or tight end 5 or whatever. But yeah, I mean, I do see the point in making Trey McBride a keep candidate here, but I think I'm going to try to go out on a limb and try to keep Kyle Pitts since to me he's the more athletic tight end. So,
riding the Pitts wave.
Yeah,
I like it.
Riding the Pitts.
Don't say it like that.
You don't like that? Riding the Pitts.
Yuck.
You just made it so weird.
Ride the Pitts.
Ride the Pitts.
Not like that.
That's funny.
Like the way Clip was saying it.
Riding
Pitty
Pitts.
City.
Sniffing the pits.
Okay, that's too far.
Okay. Well, that's it.
Touching pits.
Jeez.
All right. Well, that's it for our episode today. I think that will do it. Feel free to email us any of your questions. Who would you guys keep? Who would you guys trade? Who would you guys cut? Yeah. Good episode, everybody. Good episode, fellas. This was a good one, huh?
Lots of fun, boys. Yeah, that's fun. We're getting into the season coming around here.
Yeah.
We're gonna have our fantasy draft is kicking off for our dynasty soon. We have our regular keeper one as well coming up, so we'll have some great content for you guys coming out soon.
Ooh. So excited. Yeah, we're gonna have to just, like show off our rankings pretty soon. Like our guys, who are our guys, you know. So
heck yeah.
But
I'm excited.
All right, everybody. That'll do it for us today. If you like this podcast, feel free to share it with nobody because you want the edge. So, yeah. I guess I'll round it out.
Keep it up.
All right, everybody. We'll see y'all later. Have a good one.